This is a special video. I know that everyone hates season 4, and I know that you guys are probably wondering, why is the video starting on his Twitter page? Well, that's because if you see in the right, I've gathered some of my Japanese friends for a special video. They're not in the call, but I've gone ahead and messaged some of them before anyone goes, oh, well, why are you just, it's a little weird, you don't know. No, I do know them. I'm in a server with a lot of them. They're really nice people. I've sat in VC with some of them and played games with some of them as well. Super nice people. I've also met them at events like Arkwood Tour, and it was super cool meeting them. I figured, why not go ahead and get some of their opinions for a video? I know that a lot of people in NA share the same opinion that this game is in a very bad state right now. Yeah, I mean, if you're on Twitter, that much is obvious, right? You see the hatred towards, X, Y, and Z about this game. So I thought maybe I would ask the Japanese players on what they think. They are also a community and have their own opinions. Their player base is a little older than ours, so they definitely have more mature opinions, rational opinions than we do. So again, I wanted to share it here on the channel on what they think, and maybe it could help shine some light on your opinion and the way you think about the game, or, maybe it's just something you've been wondering for the longest time what they think. So we are here. I will talk about some of the players in case you don't know them. Let's start at the bottom. Let's start with Summit. Summit is obviously a Chipp player. He was the best Chipp in Zerd, if you've ever watched the older Guilty Gear game. And now he's currently still playing Chipp. I basically asked them all the same questions. It was, it was kind of like a copy and paste message. I just kind of replaced the name. But, I kind of just asked, what's their opinion on things going on in America? It's reasons like poor balancing and whatnot. So there's the message, and here is the response. Hello. I have no complaints about season 4 because Chipp is very interesting. I did not enjoy season 3 because Chipp was a very hard character. I don't mind too much because it is a feature of Guilty Gear that the balance is not good. So he kind of gave me I expected this answer, and I do not blame him. Yeah, he was expecting it. Well, not too much I can really say about that. I'm not a player of the older games, so if you have played the older games and this is something that maybe you also feel like this, or, then let me know. I'm very curious. Anyway, let's move on though. We then have Poka. So I asked Poka his thoughts. Poka, if you don't know who it is the young Happy Chaos player who got top 8 at EVO Japan. Very, very good player. I believe now he's playing Dizzy. I could be wrong. He could be back on Happy Chaos. I have not been following too much on his gameplay, but I know that he is out there putting in work in the Asian scene. So Poka says, hello. I think only Potemkin is not good. I just don't like this version very much. And I then asked him any reasons on why you don't like this version too much, anything you want changed in a future update. Also, yes, we all hate Potemkin. The reason is Potemkin, is his response. Well, I think that we can all take a deep breath and be at peace that it is not just us in America who hate Potemkin. It is a universal thing that we are all feeling. Everyone can hate Potemkin. Don't feel ashamed for hating Potemkin. You're not getting gapped. The character is just broken and ignorant. So yeah, that's Poka's response. Now we move to Jiro. If you guys don't know who Jiro is, this is the best Anji in the world. I'm pretty sure everyone knows who he is. You've seen him at countless tournaments, performing well everywhere. So let's get into his response. I asked Jiro his thoughts, and he said, hi, I guess we don't know yet as far as the balance of the game is concerned, since has just been a major update. But the way Arc System works is doing it is not very good. I think it's a big problem that once they change something, they immediately change it. Or they keep the parts of the game that make it difficult to play network matches in the first place. Or that make it difficult to play compared to other games. I'd like to see ranked matches, especially since it's hard for me personally to find people who match my skill level. So I kind of want to jump in the middle of this actually. So one of the things he says is that they change something and then they immediately change it. I do think that he is partly talking about maybe complaints about a character that get changed. So for example, Millie Capel got nerfed, then it gets buffed. Jacko 2D gets nerfed, and then it gets reverted, right? Maybe he's talking about that. I do agree on the network part. Again, they did release a dev backyard recently with the roadmap talking about how difficult it is, or how they want to change the network to make it better feeling for the players. And then ranked matches. I think ranked matches could have been sick. I think they should have taken Team of 3 ranked and just made a ranked system, like an actual rank system for the game. But this is a very casual heavy game, a very, very casual heavy game It's a lot of people's first fighting game. So I think the idea of a rank system maybe would have freaked some players out and maybe ruined the game for a lot of the casual base. I think at the end of the day, people need to remember that devs more care about the casual player base than the actual like competitive pro top level player base. So, but anyways, thank you Jiro for the response. Now we move to one who everybody knows, Gobo. So, Gobo actually sent me quite a longer message. So, Gobo, his response is, it is true that Japanese players do not consider Season 4 to be a good version. I don't either. I play 4 characters, 2 of them, Zato and Asuka, were ruined. Abba didn't have a good patch, and the only one I genuinely enjoy is Gold Lewis. However, the trend is recent patching suggests that the development team is taking player opinion and turning it right back to it. And I suspect Gold Lewis will soon become boring too. He then says, also, when such an adjustment policy that only looks at the players' faces becomes more pronounced, those who are louder and more assertive on SNS, which he means Twitter, will have an advantage. Instead of in-game study, making a big fuss on Twitter becomes the right strategy. I think this is unhealthy and really ridiculous. I told him I agree, and then he says, firstly, they should probably change their mindset that less damage means less return. The implementation of Wild Assault made it very easy to wall break and mix up some characters, and subsequent updates have been adjusted based on those characters. The level of conditions that create favorable situations should be raised, and each character should be reset for each one of those conditions. If you specifically want me to suggest adjustments to common system, burst, wall of soul, IB, etc., I don't have any. I ultimately believe that the root of the weirdness of the current version lies in the accumulation of failures and individual character adjustments. That's a lot. He said a lot, and there's a lot to it. It wasn't just yapping words. First of all, I want to say what jumped at me the most in this is this right here. I truly think this is the biggest thing. Like, without a doubt, the biggest thing. And it's crazy. Like, oh my gosh. Dude, I hate this so much. I hate this so much. I hate this so much. I truly think that this is just a lot of the problems with the game. A lot of reverts because of this. A lot of unneeded character changes because of this, right? I don't even need to get into it too much. You guys have seen it. You guys have seen the Biken players, the Jacko players, the Milia players, right? I think the only player base that has yelled and not been heard are the Zato players. But to be fair, we were a little loud when he was good, so it's understandable. But I don't know, dude. It's just, it's weird that it's weird that they see it. Like, they see it and then, like, you know, they're looking at us like, yo, these dudes are like, bro, they're fucking up the game. Like, dude, these freaking people in NA just ruining shit. So I think that part is pretty funny. But yeah, it's sad that, you know, it is sadly a thing that if you complain loud enough, then it will get changed. In-game study is something he says, and I think that is, oh man, huge, dude. I do truly believe that a lot of people complain about, like, it's weird because you see it a lot, especially on Twitter, like, a lot of people complain about the balancing of the game, but they were on Twitter or somewhere else shouting and screaming to the streets that they wanted this changed, and they get their wish, but other people's wishes are granted as well, right? And it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, he says a lot. Like I said, it's good stuff. Shout out Gobo. Thank you very much. My glorious king. Follow me back. Next, we have Sonican. So if you guys don't know who Sonican is the Happy Chaos player that got second. Actually, no, he is the Evo Japan champion. This is the Evo Japan champion. Yeah, I'm not going to get into why he got first. He got second, but he got first. But yes, this is Sonican. His response, he gave me a very long response as well. He says, hello, Domi. Good to see you. I'm done with my work now. To be honest, I don't think my opinion much difference from American. I think the balance of GGST is not as good as Season 1 right now. The characters up to Season 3 had their own shortcomings and were the balance of fighting by supplementing them with advantages. However, some broken characters in Season 4 are fighting with overwhelming weight and strength, ignoring their chronic shortcomings. Gold, Lewis, Ram, Pot. Also, some characters like Soul and Axel have gone through changes that make the techniques, skills that players have honed so far useless experiences. There are also characters that only got weaker without changing. Chaos, Milia, Asuka. I'm playing hard because I have to prepare for Aqua Tour, but I don't think this game is very fun. Okay, so I agree. And he kind of also dipped into what Gobo said a bit. So about the part with characters, you know, fighting with, you know, almost with no weaknesses, where before they had weaknesses, right? Now it's just overwhelming weight of strength. Pot is the biggest example of this. Some characters, I'm surprised he didn't mention in the category where we mentioned Soul and Axel. I think he should have also put like Ram, for example, like characters that are getting reworked like 3 or 4 years into the game to the point where when you learn stuff with them, it just becomes useless now because they're getting reworked, right? Obviously, Pot was one of those characters where cars got taken, but because people complained, they just gave it back. They buffed Pot to work around, to be without Karas, and then gave him Karas. And what? Like, it doesn't really make sense. Also, characters that got weaker without changing. So what he mainly means by this is Milia just lost Capel, and that was pretty much it, right? Before the emergency patch. Chaos just lost Clone and nothing, and he didn't get anything else. Asuka just got nerfs. He did not get any buffs. He didn't get shit. And then with the emergency patch, they left characters out, and I made a video about this. They left characters out of the patch notes. Like, I believe it was Leffen who said it best. He made a tweet saying, you can't do a patch and leave some characters out. Good balancing doesn't work like that. You have to include every character. You can't not include some characters and expect the game balancing to be anywhere near good, right? Regardless of how big or small the patch is, I do agree with that. You have to have every character on there. How do you change the health of every character in the game and then leave Asuka as is? But then you up the damage. That's just a nerf to Asuka, right? And without even making it seem like it. You know, in the emergency patch, you change Milia's HP, but then don't change anyone else's, right? Chaos is, actually wait, I'm lying. Chaos got 8 J2K, that freaking, yeah, that move was broken as hell. Never mind. But yeah, I see what he's saying. I've talked about it a bit in the past, so it's cool to see that they also feel this way a bit. Shout out Sonican, that's my goat. But yeah, let's go to the next. So now we have Kohide. Kohide is a very strong Geo player from Japan. They have been around for a while. I've been in VC with this person before. Very cool guy. I asked him, and let's see what he says. It feels like they're losing their way with the adjustments, like reverting Potemkin's slide input and Jacko's 2D. I think Goldlewis, Potemkin, Ino, Johnny, Abba, and Elfelt need to be nerfed. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I kind of didn't really read too much of the messages because I wanted to read them here, so I'm kind of surprised he said Ino. Okay, yeah. Need to be nerfed. For Ramathal, it would be great if they could just do something about her JH. Giovanna is slightly weaker than average, but if you exclude the overpowered characters, I think her strength is about just right. Yeah, I mean, I think Gio's still really strong, but yeah, there are some, here's the thing, okay, it's weird, because yes, there are some extremely powerful characters in this game, and I think maybe 2 of them could be on their own tier, maybe 1 or 2 of them, maybe 3, I don't know. But I think the strength of the average top tier to the tier below that is not that far. So I see what he's saying. As far as nerfing characters, Abba, Elfelt, I'm down for Abba and Elfelt nerfs. Get them out. Sure, let's do it. Look, I am not complaining. Let's just get them out the game, right? Ino, sure, I'm on train. Nerf Ino too. Get her out. Gold Lewis, Pot, Johnny, get him out. See, no talking about Sin, bro. The Japanese players, I know, bro, they don't think Sin's good, bro. Trust me. No, but okay. Anyway, back on track. I do agree with what he's saying, and the losing their way with adjustments, reverting Pot and Jacko, kind of what Gobo was talking about, right? Kind of what someone else was talking about as well. Kind of what I was talking about as well. So yeah, I thank you, Kohide, for the response. Let's move on. Next we have Leo. So Leo is obviously Japanese Faust player. He beat Latif at the Arc World Tour event last year in Australia, something like that. But he was on Arc World Tour, did very well, very cool guy. I asked him, and he said, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna need to. We're gonna do this together." So he says, "Okay." Well, I didn't think we'd hear this. The new patch is pretty interesting, except for Potemkin. Wow. Okay, let's see what else he says. Isn't it interesting to have a fixed strong attack and not have many variations in attack? However, since I understand the creator's intentions, I can barely enjoy it. He then goes on to say, Faust, I would like the increased stiffness of drill to be restored. If you don't know what he means by this, I believe he's talking about J2K. It got an extra 3 frames of recovery, I believe. The whole game, the attack power of each character is too different. So I'd like to see it adjusted. After that, the difference in physical strength is too great. Characters with a lot of physical strength have too many chances to go wild, backstab, etc. Yeah, I agree. I don't know about the Faust revert. Keep that nerfed. But yeah, I think he's just talking about characters like Gold Lewis and Pot and whatnot. Kind of goes on to what the other Japanese players were saying of, you know, Pot just being too strong and, you know, other characters feeling like they're playing without weaknesses. So I agree with what Leo is saying. Thank you, Leo, for the response, my brother. And let's move on. Before I get into this one, there's some context. So Hochu, good guy. Right? I've talked to him before. However, I forgot that he actually works for ArcSys themselves. We ran into a roadblock. I asked him the question and then he hit me with the, yo, sorry, I can't, I work for the company. So this answer is going to be a little different. I didn't realize that, again, he works for the company. He doesn't think he can talk. So I made it simple. I know he plays Bridget, so I was like, okay, let's not cross any boundaries. Just give me, you know, something, a very simple answer if you're able to. It could be something as little as I love Bridget and her design. So he just says, personally, I think the overall damage has been decreased compared to the previous season. I think a good change about this, right? Pretty simple. So yeah, that's Hochu's response. Again, please forgive him if you're not happy with the response. He literally works for the company. Like he can't just be out here, you know, giving me like the scrolls. So thank you, Hochu, for taking the time to respond, but let's move on. Thank you. Next, we have Saryu. Saryu is actually I've played Saryu a lot before, so super fun to talk to Saryu. And on top of, you know, it was actually funny because on top of me asking him questions, he actually asked me questions on, you know, what the American players thought. So he was also gathering thoughts. So it was very cool to have a conversation with him. But you guys don't want to hear about what I said, so let me just go over what he said. I know. Saryu says, hello, regarding season 4. It seems like the way they are making adjustments is based on opinions of social media, but I don't think they are making good judgment about that. Using Ramathal as an analogy, it's good to make techniques that are too strong weaker, but that's the way to go. I think there are a lot of adjustments and methods used by many characters that are difficult for players to understand. By the way, I'm currently thinking of talking about how the Japanese players as a whole can improve the game. So I'm also looking forward to the opinions of American players. By the way, and then he just asked me a question. And then I get back to him and he says, I see. There are a lot of opinions about Potemkin these days. Ramathal, which had a lot of opinions in the previous adjustment, has been revised this time. So what kind of evaluation? You know, he asked me again another question and he says, personally, I think Ramathal in season 3 was more complete and interesting, regardless of whether she was weak or strong, strong or weak. Is the number of players in America decreasing in season 4? And then he asked me another question, and then we just came to an agreement. So yeah, basically, I think the main point about this is this right here. Again, it's surprising because this is something that multiple Japanese players have said thus far. So it's funny how, again, they see the people begging for changes on Twitter, they see it too. Thank you, Saryu, so much for answering, brother. And let's dive in. Next, we have Tatuma. So, if you don't know who Tatuma is, this is the Seoul player who got second at Evo, America Evo, got second place to Nitro, who won the tournament. Let's see what Tatuma has to say about the game. Everyone may have said this, but it's possible that they didn't test play the adjusted characters or only did for a short time. If they don't have enough manpower, I think it would be better to have players test play and ask for their opinions. I think the direction of the adjustments is a lot of challenges, but I wonder if they couldn't balance it with the time and manpower. I personally think that soldier adjustments are quite good. I think the adjustments to Vortex, Bringer, and Revolver are well thought out. So I know it's starting to get a little repetitive because it seems like most of the players so far have either talked about how Potemkin and the other big bodies or other certain characters are just a little too strong and Potemkin has ruined the game, how they are tired of seeing the opinions of people on Twitter and how the devs respond to it by just implementing their complaints into the game, and that the devs just didn't play test or, you know, correctly, you know, just the way they're balancing, like kind of what I was just saying, just balancing is wrong. Even then, from people like Kohide and Saryu, they believe their characters are strong, but like, you know, they also believe there are other characters that are just way too strong. So thank you, Tatuma, for the response. Thank you for getting back to me in such a short amount of time as well. Very thankful. Let's move on to the last person, my GOAT, Mugi. So Mugi, the Japanese player I've actually played the most games with before. Thank you very much, Mugi. Good to his response. He says, sorry to keep you waiting. First of all, I prefer season 4 to season 3. In season 3, most of the strong characters were standard characters with red wall assault or characters with blue wall assault, which has similar power to red wall assault, were active. I believe that in this game, the strength of the character has big impact on assault, and gating tension through red or blue assault greatly affects the character's evaluation. In season 4, the characters have developed their own personalities, and I'm able to enjoy them outside of assault. That's important to me, and it's a good opportunity to enjoy GGST. However, on the other hand, I think that certain characters being too strong is a problem from a different angle. Go Lewis, Johnny, Pot. However, I expect that these will be corrected with minor updates as the season progresses. Sorry, they won't, because they released the roadmap and there's no sign of a patch. With future expectations in mind, I think season 4 will be a good season, at least better than it is now. So it sounds like he thinks the season is fine, but not great, but better than how season 3 was, just by how wild assault heavy it was. Obviously, I've released a video on Wild Assault before, but, you know, Wild Assault used to be so much stronger than it is now. So, this is actually a different opinion. I'm glad that I can end the video with a more positive opinion, to be honest, right? It's just like, yeah, just a more positive opinion. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you to all the players that, you know, I'm not sure if they understand, if they'll even see this video, or, you know, maybe they do, but they don't really understand too much of what I am saying due to the language barrier. But thank you everyone who took the time to respond. I greatly appreciate it, especially for getting back to me so fast. All these responses came in so quick. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm curious. I want to hear everyone's thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you disagree with their opinions, if, you know, it was how interesting this is to you. I'm sure that, I'm not trying to gas myself up, but I'm sure this is probably something that, you know, you don't get to see every day. So I'm glad that, you know, regardless of how they view our American opinions, or, you know, what we post on Twitter, that they, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not gonna lie, I was just yapping. Thank you everyone for watching. It was a pleasure. Until next time, make sure to join the Discord, link in the comments in the bio, or in the description. I'll try to get this out soon, so stick around, and more videos coming soon. Thank you everyone. Love you guys. Talk to you later.